Hi, everyone. My name is Diana McCrae. My business partner, Patricia Rivera, and I created this pitch deck for the Bridesquad directory, a new and innovative resource tool for the bride squads, aka bridesmaids. So, to learn more about the Bride Squad and its importance to the bride, we have invited our Bride Squad expert and consultant, Shannan McCrae, to share her own experience as being part of a Bride Squad. Shannan is also a high level professional who works in the digital advertising industry as a director. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring Shannan on. And hi, Shan.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. So I want you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your friends and how you were asked to be on the Bride Squad.
Sure. So, about me, like you said, I am a digital advertising professional. I work as an account director at a creative agency, and essentially, I am pretty much the gatekeeper and the manager of accounts for large brands such as Converse, DSW, Party City, Showtime, MoneyGram, to name a few. That keeps me very busy throughout the week, especially during this time of year, holiday time. My clients are very demanding, so busy with that. And then, on the weekends, I love spending time with family and my friends and my puppy sister, Nala. And that's pretty much about me. So as far as the Bride Squad, I was invited to an engagement party. It was a surprise engagement. Well, I say all surprises if you think about it, but it was my friend was getting proposed to, and her fiance, her boyfriend to be at the time, he planned an event where it would be family and friends of the two of them. We would get together on a Friday night and surprise the bride, and it ended up being a really loving experience. It was great. And a few weeks after that, I went with her. She was starting her wedding preparations, and she invited me to go to the initial dress shopping for her. So we were looking at dresses. It was a wonderful experience. A week or so later, she invited me over her house, and we were watching television. I'm having a girls' night, having some wine. We had the OWN channel on, and she disappears for a couple of minutes and comes back with the box and presents me with this box. And I'm like, "What is this?" And she's like, "Open it." I open it, and it's essentially a "Will You Be My Bridesmaid" box. That was the first thing I saw. I opened the card, and it was a beautiful note, pretty much where she explained to me why she chose me, and it was asking me to be a bridesmaid. And it was touching and very special because she's bi-coastal. Well, actually, she's the East Coast now, but she's born and raised, went to college in California. And when she came to New York, I was her first friend here. And essentially, that's the reasoning behind choosing me as a bridesmaid, because I was her first friend in New York, and we did a lot together. And, this is where she met her husband. This is where she's going to start her new life. So why not have your first friend where you're beginning your whole life in your wedding? So that's how it happened.
So tell us a little bit about being on like a Bride Squad, because essentially like bridesmaid become like this Bride Squad that really, really supports and helps the bride. So tell us a little bit about your experience and what it was like to be part of that.
Now that it's over, I can look at it differently. I think if you were to come to me during the time, it was fun. At the end of the day, it was an honor. Everything turned out beautifully. We did a great job as a bridal squad. But while you're in it, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of time spent planning different events. It's a lot of money that can be spent depending on, the kind of bride squad that you're in, or the kind of wedding that the bride wants. We knew from the beginning that this bride was going to be high maintenance, and that she would want a high maintenance wedding that included everything. We knew that going in. So that's one of the things that up front, if you know the bride really well, you know what you're in for. And I knew what I was in for from day one, but it was overall a wonderful experience. The other bridesmaids and I, we would have conference calls almost every other week to plan particular events, whether it was the bridal shower, the bachelorette trip, planning our, getting together our hair looks. We had conference calls with the bride, and we had conference calls without her. So it was pretty, we had due dates for money, we had dress fittings, we each played different roles. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. And I would do it again if I am guaranteed to have the same experience I had this time.
So it sounds like the Bride Squad is like the most important, entity here for ensuring that the bride's wedding is like, a success. So why do you think Bride Squads are becoming the term Bride Squads are becoming so popular now?
Yeah, I think bridesmaids have always, been integral parts of the wedding. I think there's been a huge trend recently. I'm not sure. I don't really know where it started, but I would say probably in the last 5 years, I feel like it's really, really become popular. So I guess the Bride Squad, you have the wedding party or your bridal party. But now it's a squad because it's more not necessarily just about the wedding day. It's just about having girls or having women who are going to be dependable, who are going to have your back, who are going to put their all into making your day special. And it's essentially your squad. It's your girls. It's the people who, are going to do everything they can to make sure that your day goes smoothly, or to make sure you have the best wedding events that you can possibly have. So it's not just about standing up there on the wedding day. Nowadays, it's about, planning a bachelorette trip. Most bride squads are planning a trip, and most of them, a lot of the trips are, out of the country. So you're planning that. We planned our trip. She had no idea where she was going. So it was a big surprise. She knew the dates that we were going away, but she had no clue where we were going, what we were planning, or anything. And then you have the bridal the bridal shower. It's the same thing. So it's not only the squad of the bride, you become a squad of your own, just you and the bridesmaids. I can't begin to tell you how close I became to these other girls just being in the bridal party. We have a group chat today that we're still a part of. We became really, really tight because you're speaking all the time. So it's a squad in many different senses. You become your own squad, and then you're the squad of the bride. So it's a lot of camaraderie. It's sisterhood. It's a big sisterhood. So that's why it's important to make sure when the bride chooses the Bride Squad, she's choosing, of course, people who have her as number one, but who also can get along with each other. It's so.
Very good. Very good points. I know, and congratulations, that the squad you were on was one of the ones chosen for Essence. How did that feel? And do you, I don't know if do you know how many people actually submitted their pictures? I mean, it must be something special why you guys were selected.
Yeah, it's funny. We had no idea. So because the Bride Squad and the whole bridal party thing has become so big, and just weddings in general, there are a lot of pages on social media, on Instagram in particular, that are dedicated to just weddings. And and bridal parties and bride squads. And, you know, you have Munalachi Bride, you have Black Bride 1998, you have Weddings on Point. And these are just websites these are pages that have hundreds of thousands of followers. And one of the things that I know in the beginning of the whole journey was that we were determined, like, we're going to be the best bride squad there is. We're going to be like, we're going to make it to all these sites. We're going to make it on all these pages. We were determined to do that. Because we know that's what the bride, we're all high maintenance. She's high maintenance. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is going to happen. So it wasn't anything extra that we did. We just, you know, she had a look she wanted us to wear. And that's the funny thing about this too. Like, she was very particular in what she wanted. She wanted a certain look of her bridesmaid. She wanted us to have a certain dress type. We had the same dress, the same hair, the same shoes. We were like identical pretty much. And the dress was one of those dresses that it wasn't too much. I think it was relatable to a lot of other women because it was a dress that you can wear over and over again. It wasn't too frilly. It wasn't something that's just for like a wedding. I can see myself wearing this somewhere else. So I think seeing us in those dresses and just seeing her in her beautiful dress, the look of the party was just one that caught the eye of all the sites. We made every popular wedding site on Instagram, and we made Essence, and we had no idea that was going to happen. I think someone randomly showed us a screenshot of the Essence website, and we were there, and we were, it literally, I think the whole article was Best Bridal Parties of 2017, and we made it out of, I think it was about 20 or 25 bridal parties. So we didn't apply for it. We were just like randomly chosen based on our social media presence.
Wow. And you guys look gorgeous. You guys, I saw the pictures, so I know you look gorgeous at the wedding. It was just very classy kind of wedding. So that said, do you know, I was going to ask you, do you know of any other Bridesquad competitions? But you pretty much mentioned a lot of stuff that was happening on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any competitions. That's the thing. So that's definitely unique. I think if there were to be a competition that bridal squads knew about and say, I don't know, what the ultimate prize would be, I think that would be a big draw. The sites I'm referencing on social media, they're just basically, you know, Instagram is pictures. So you have an interest in weddings, or say if you know, so as soon as my friend was engaged, she immediately started following all of these social media wedding pages. So it's one of those things where once you, especially if you're a bride or you're in the bridal party, you know, you're looking at these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful photos of these gorgeous women, all shapes and sizes, all races, just coming together and just showing the sisterhood and the camaraderie of one woman. You know, it's beautiful. So you want to, like, you know, you aspire to kind of make it on those pages as well. Because if I show you, it's gorgeous, gorgeous women representing sisterhood is the main thing. So you see that, you aspire to want to be on it. So we were able to make all those pages. So I don't think there aren't any competitions, just more or less like, you know, oh, my bridal party, we made this site, we made that site. And, you know, it's a big thing. It's a huge thing. There's a lot of, nowadays you can go on different websites. You can buy, they have t-shirts that say Bridal Squad. They have hats. They have memorabilia. It's just like, it's become a really, really, really huge thing. You know, when you plan your bachelorette trip, for the bride, a lot of it is themed. You wear, you know, the same colors, and the whole time she has on whites because she's a bride. You know, it's just a huge, huge, huge industry now, and it's a huge thing, and I can't imagine it lessening anytime soon. I think it's just going to continue to just grow. I have a couple of coworkers who are in weddings next year, and I already see them starting what I went through, and they're starting it now. So it's just a constant evolution, and it's going to keep going.
So that brings up a good point. Right to the fact that how do you think having this like resource tool, this Bride Squad online directory, how do you think that could really help to make the planning for the Bride Squad easier?
I definitely think it can help. I keep referencing social media, but maybe that's because I'm in digital advertising and it's just what I do. But if you were to look on Instagram under pictures, so say under our photo, right, you would see women talking to their friends saying, "Oh, I love this look. Ooh, I love the color of these dresses. Ooh, what a great idea for a bachelorette party. Oh my God, we should do this." So people are looking on social media, they're looking on Instagram and Pinterest for ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was one place, one directory where women knew they could go and, be given the tools and given ideas, I think it would be amazingly helpful and huge. Just look at certain things like Yelp or Craigslist. Like if you had a woman had a place they knew they can go for bridal party ideas and stuff like that, I think it would be huge. Because like I said, what we do now is pretty much, look at what we see on social media and try to make it our own. So to have a resource, I think that would be huge.
So what do you think, just from your great experiences being on this phenomenal Bride Squad, what do you think are some of the tools or some of the things that a Bride Squad directory should have?
I think so. I mean, the thing about there's a lot of things like one of the things that most bride squads do you plan the bridal shower, you're planning a bachelorette party. It may not be a trip, some people just want to do a local party. So I think people want to be unique. So if there were like unique ideas of a type of bridal shower, for instance, the bridal shower. So, we had conference calls about how we wanted the shower to be or where we wanted it to be, or did we want it to be at a hall? Do we want to rent a hotel room? I mean, I'm sorry, a hotel room, a hotel restaurant. Do we want to have it in someone's house? And, we ended up choosing to have it in the backyard in someone's house. It was the summertime. And the reason being is because we had already spent so much money on the bachelorette trip. We had already spent so much money on our dresses. We had to give down payments to the hairdresser and get our nails done, that we said, you know what, if there's some place that we can kind of cut corners and make it memorable and beautiful, but save some money, we'll do it here. So I think ideas from all price ranges on a bachelorette party experience, a bachelorette trip experience, a bridal shower experience, ways just to, not every bridal squad has the same budget, you know what I mean? So I just think ideas for the events or ideas on how you can be cost effective if you need to be, just being able to go somewhere and just seeing options from all levels, I think is something that would be really helpful, because you have a lot of women who, maybe they can't afford to go to St. Martin for 5 days like we could, but that doesn't mean that their bachelorette party, in New York City for one night is less meaningful, so somewhere that you can go and be shown different options of all levels.
Okay, that's great. So it sounds like there's a lot to being on a Bride Squad. Now that I'm listening to you, it's like it is not just, usually like back in the day, you would just ask to be a bridesmaid and then, you got your dress and you help with some stuff. But now it definitely sounds like a online directory would be very helpful. I just want to know, like, a few more questions. One is, what was the most memorable part of being on that squad for you?
Um, I mean, now that everything is over, I would think I can, the most memorable part, well, I guess I can do during and after. So during, the most memorable part was just to see I keep talking about sisterhood, and I think that was what was best for me. I guess that's overall experience. So I guess during the bridal, during the planning of it, our bachelorette trip, we spent 5 days in St. Martin, and we literally had to have like the best time ever. We left that trip saying it was probably one of the best trips of our lives. And the funny thing about it was the first time a lot of us were traveling together, and women. So we were kind of nervous about it, but we got along seamlessly, and it was a great time. So I would say that's the most memorable part before the wedding. Then it would be the wedding day. The wedding day, it was just, by the time we got to the wedding, we had been talking probably almost daily for like 8-9 months. So we just grew very close. So the day of the wedding was just wonderful, getting dressed together, and the excitement. I remember the excitement that we felt when we got dressed, and we all felt so beautiful. And the bride was dressed, and we took a limo over from the hotel to the venue, and we were dancing, we were taking videos, and then we got to the venue and we saw the groomsmen and the husband to be, and it was just I think the camaraderie and just the fun time that we had is most memorable. We had, well, we like to say we had the most lit bridal party, and by lit we mean the most fun bridal party. I remember we were standing in line ready to go out at the ceremony, start our ceremony, and we were rapping together, and we were dancing and having a good time. So I think that's what it was. It was camaraderie. It was a sisterhood. It was just being able to enjoy each other, and we formed a bond. We formed a bond that, we are already planning our next trip, where we've hung out a number of times since the wedding. That was a couple of months ago. We still speak regularly. So I think the most memorable part for me was how well we got along and the relationships that formed from it. That's what I take from it.
So that sounds really great. And so, Shan, when you get married, this is a final question. What will you look for in your bride squad?
For me, it's definitely, or the thing about me is I have so many friends. The main things that I will look for are just, it's kind of like, can I rely on this person? Can I trust this person? Is this somebody who I know that when I'm going through panic modes, or if I'm stressed out, that she's there to calm me down? Someone who, I know that will recognize the stress of planning a wedding, and who would just kind of just be my voice of reason, because the planning a wedding is hard. And if we think it's hard as a bridesmaid, just imagine how the bride and groom to be feel. Not only are they the ones who are getting married, they're the ones who are putting out all of this money to make sure that this wedding day goes perfect, or just making sure that their day is something they remember for the rest of their life. So we have a hard part in it, but imagine the bride. So I just want people by my side who would be compassionate, who would be just there for me. And the thing about me is I have so many friends that I feel that way about, that I don't even know. I mean, I don't want to be a bride that has 10 bridesmaids, but I could easily have that. But yeah, it's basically just about knowing who will have your back no matter what. You need a person who's more planning focused. You need someone who will be the life of the party animal to keep things, always live and fun. You need someone whose sense of humor, you just need different personalities, create a bridal squad. So I think I have that. I have a bunch of friends, different personalities. I do have one friend who I love her dearly, but I know she's very particular, and I don't know if she would get along with a lot of the other bridesmaids. So even in that sense, you think about that too. You don't want it to be one Debbie Downer of the bunch who isn't going to be compatible and not get along with people. So it's actually, from this experience, it's not an easy thing to choose women to stand by your side on your wedding day. It's a lot that goes into it, especially if you want a lot of things done. So,
well, Shan, you've been really great and very helpful, and your answers were profound. I think that definitely the Bride Squad is something meaningful. It's not just about just being part of like a bridesmaid, like even that name, the Bridesmaids. I'm glad they changed it to the Bride Squad, because the squad is certainly about teamwork and synergy and unity. And you sounded like you had a really good time, and that you guys accomplished that. So without further ado, thank you so much. And I'll be looking for you when you have your Bride Squad. Thank you, Shan.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.